You know something? In the game of life, you're playing a cricket match against an entity called the mind. No one on planet Earth can stop you from accomplishing and achieving what you want if you can bat against the googlies that the mind bowls at you. How many of you have trouble in studying and you come here, you hear all of these things? Don't get distracted by WhatsApp. Don't get distracted by internet pornography. Don't get distracted by Twitter. Study. How many of you wanted to wake up early in the morning? Raise your hands. And how many of you have done something called as setting an alarm clock? And then after setting the alarm clock, whether you want it or not, it rings. And when it rings, the mind puts its first googly. What does the mind do? By putting the googly, when you do the first snooze, you are out. If you snooze, you are out.
Hey, it's Evan Carmichael, and I make these videos because in my first business, I struggled to believe in myself. I quit on my business partner. And the thing that saved me was watching the successful stories of entrepreneurs. They gave me the inspiration to keep going, as well as the strategies of what to do. And quite honestly, I still need their stories and motivation today as well. So today, let's live your best believed life and get some incredible motivation from the one and only Gaur Gopal Das.
I want to say one thing, just one. And probably this will change the direction of your life. You know something? When you snooze the alarm, what happens? You decide to give in to the mind's ball. And this is how your morning begins. By giving in to the mind. सवेरे की शुरुआत होती है इस बॉलर से क्लीन बोल्ड होके, आगे क्या मैच जीतेंगे? ये तो दिन की शुरुआत है, by giving in. And it's no problem giving in. Sleeping 5 minutes extra is no problem. The problem is you develop the attitude of giving in. You tell yourself that what I decided last night is not as important. What is important is what the mind says. Because we listen. I'll tell you something, my humble advice. Because it's not just about getting up in the morning, it's about every aspect of life. Whether it's your work, if you're working, whether it's your study, if you're studying, whatever we do. The problem is, it's not about one thing. Sabere ho gaya na, it reflects in every area of life. इसलिए मैं कहता हूँ, अगर 4 बजे नहीं उठना, मालूम है ना अपने से नहीं होता, 4:20 का अलार्म लगाओ, लेकिन 4:20 को उठो. Don't allow that snooze. There is a concept called sledging in cricket, where the opponent team comes and gives gali to the batsman. Gali, they try to distract them and take their focus away. One thing that Sachin is adored for in the history of cricket is sledging hasn't bothered him. This man is cool. Are you cool? When people do sledging against you in the game of life, are you cool? Or you lose your cool? There will always be people who are out of control. Can you stop a guy from criticizing you? Can you stop an opponent team from sledging? कुछ नहीं कर सकते. It's called things which are out of our control. People are out of our control sometimes. Are situations in your control many times? No. The guy who was batting was expecting an in-swing ball. And that's what the bowler bowled. And one gush of wind, an in-swing becomes an outswing. And is caught out. Lot of things, situations, people are just out of our control. How many of you think question paper is in your control? And when things go wild, I'll tell you what happens with us. This is what happens with us. You know? This is what happens with us, see? See how it foams up? We react. The stimulus of a person sledging against us, criticizing, pulling us down, envious of us, conspiring, politicking, makes us react and foam out. We start reacting also. And look at this. This is also sealed. The question is, do you want to be a 7-Up can or a Oxycool bottle of water? And I'm sure a lot of us would say, Prabhu ji, हमको तो दूसरा कुछ सोचता ही नहीं है प्रभु जी. And thus, in our life, we will always have a stimulus, and we can choose to respond, because between the stimulus and response is our choice. A great personality is not born in the maternity ward. A great personality is born by the choices that one makes. And therefore, when there are all kinds of stimuli, we have to learn how to respond. If we are not strong spiritually, it is impossible. If we are not strong culturally, it is impossible. All this sounds great and good, and we know, yes, I want to do it. I can't be a can of soda. I want to be a water bottle. But is it so easy? No. That is why coming here is so important. That is why these foundational ethics of spirituality are so crucial in this age. As all of you are going to be successful in your own areas of life, if not cricket per se. And thus, we have to learn how to respond. What is the most selfish one-lettered word? I, isn't it? Everything revolves around I. iPhone, iPad, iPod, and the man says, I paid. What do you do? Everything revolves around the I. And what does I stand for? I stands for expectations. I should be treated like this. I should be loved like this. I should be dealt with like this. I should be respected like this. I should be given these many marks. I should not be given this. You're all leading a life of super high expectations. Everything revolves around my opinions, my desires, my likes, my dislikes. I love this, I want this, I don't want this. I. You think life will be a very happy life when it revolves around I? From our childhood we have grown up like this. We've only learned to take, and everyone has to fulfill my expectations. Everything has to be up to my expectations. Therefore, when people come to God, people come to a temple also, they're only asking, give me what I want. No one comes to say, I love you, I want to give you. When the President of the United States, John F. Kennedy, came up to his stage for his first presidential speech, his voice rumbled into the public address system when he said, ask not what the country can do for you. Ask what you can do for the country. And so we are saying, ask not what God can do for you. Ask what you can do for God. But no one asks that, because the I is so big. My expectations, my desires, my things are so powerful that even when I come to a temple and ring a bell, all I'm doing is asking. The more we lead a life of I, our I will always be frustrated, because people don't exist in this world to just fulfill your expectations. Therefore, ladies and gentlemen, the most selfish one-lettered word is I, which stands for expectations, and therefore avoid this word. How do you avoid this word? Be realistic in your expectations. अपेक्षाएं करने में कोई problem नहीं है, but understand that not everyone will fulfill your expectation. And secondly, avoid this word I by trying to serve others. You know why? Because when you want to be served, you're dependent on people. They may not serve you. When you want to serve, who can stop you? When you want respect, people may not respect you. But when you want to give respect, who can stop you? When you want to be loved, you may not be loved. But when you want to give love, who can stop you? When you want in charity, people may not give you in charity. But when you want to give charity, who can stop you? And therefore, learn to begin your journey from I to you. The more you want for yourself, you'll remain frustrated. The more you want to give, you will remain happy. When you want to achieve success in your career, in your academics, in your business, in your profession, we will fail. And that's the example of the giraffe. When the baby giraffe is born, falls from such a high distance straight on the ground, the mother positions herself right above the baby giraffe. And guess what she does first? Gives it a hard kick. बच्चे का जन्म होता है और माँ आके खाट से लात मारती है. तो बच्चा समझता नहीं, अभी तो आया है जिंदगी में, लात मारे, कौन लात मारा, लात का मतलब क्या है मालूम नहीं उसको, अचानक एक झटका मिलता है उसको. So as it's just coming out of that impact, झटका, the mother gives a bad second harder kick. Now the guy understands. अगर मैं कुछ किया नहीं तो ये चलता रहेगा सिलसिला. So this baby giraffe starts getting up on its wobbly legs, on its wobbly legs. And as the baby giraffe gets up on the wobbly leg, थोड़ा खड़ा होकर, खड़ा होना सीखा ना, फैड एक और लात मारती है माँ. फिर गिर के he gets up and starts running. And then the mother giraffe goes, hugs the baby and starts kissing the baby. You know why? Because the baby giraffe's flesh is very soft and supple, and hyenas and lions love it. The mother knows that I can't be with the baby giraffe all the time. I have to go and get food for the baby. How would I protect it? इसलिए पहले ही एक ऐसी लात मारो कि ये उठना सीखे. और फिर जैसे थोड़ा उठा ना, तो एक और लात मारो तो याद रहे और फिर उठना सीखे. जिंदगी भी माँ मदर जिराफ जैसी है. कई बार लात मारती है. We fail. We should get up. And we'll fail again. We should get up. And like I always say, don't just go through life. Grow through life.
Also, to make sure you're actually taking action after watching this video, I've designed a special free worksheet just for this video. The worksheet will highlight all of the lessons learned in this video, as well as pull out our 3 favorite learnings and quotes that will inspire you to actually do something. The worksheet will also give you space to write down what your key takeaways are and your specific plan of action to make sure you're getting results. If you want the worksheet designed specifically for this video, absolutely for free, there's a link in the description below. Go click on it and start building the momentum in your life and your business. I'll see you there.
It's quite amazing, isn't it? That when something's stuck in our tooth, the tongue just keeps going to that tooth. Until unless that stuff is out of our tooth, it just keeps going there. Now, there's 31 other teeth in our mouth. When nothing's stuck, the tongue can go there and say, hey, wow, look, there's nothing stuck here. Go to one of the other tooth where there's nothing stuck and say, hey, look, amazing, there's nothing stuck here. But just the nature of the tongue that it keeps going to where something is stuck. And surely, we have to deal with it. Whenever I travel in my handbag, I always have dental floss and a box of toothpicks with me. Just in case something is stuck, I have to take it out. Certainly, we have to deal with it. At the same time, there's a lot of other good things that we can focus on. Ladies and gentlemen, it's not just the nature of the tongue. Isn't it the nature of the mind as well? When there is a problem, an issue stuck in a certain area of our life, the mind keeps going to that problem and just gets stuck into the negativity of trying to deal with it. But there's 31, or shall I say many, many more, good things happening in so many different areas of our life where there's no problems, no issues stuck. Yet, the mind only keeps going to those areas where there are problems. It is necessary, therefore, for all of us that we focus on the good that is happening in our life and deal with the bad or the problems that are happening in our life. Let us not consume our minds with negativity. Let us consume our minds with positivity. Focus on the positive and deal with the negative.
Most often, if not always, our lives seem to be out of balance. And when lives are out of balance, it makes us very irritable. When we drive a car, we always drive a car and a car has 4 wheels. a rhetorical thing to say, isn't it? You drive a car on these four wheels, and these four wheels in the car of life represent first wheel, your personal life, your health, your mind, yourself, the things that you love to do, the things that you would want to do, not have to do. Most times we live a life of have to do. I have to study. I have to work. I have to pay my bills. I have to pay the taxes. I have to do this and I have to do that. I have to go for this social function. I don't have a choice. I have to. Where did the love to go? We just end up living a life of have tos and have forgot about our own selves. By subscribing to the pressures that come from all fronts in our lives, we've forgotten to live our own lives. We don't have time to unwind. We don't have time to spend with our own selves. We don't have time to be with nature and take a deep breath and just relish the crispness of the air. We don't have the time to do all of that, especially in a metropolitan city like this. When the pressures are so high and the pace is so fast, we just don't have time for ourselves, ladies and gentlemen. And that's one car, one wheel of our car, isn't it? Personal life. Our health, for instance. Such an important thing. But at the cost of just running, we forget to pay attention to our own health. The second wheel of the car is family life. Demands attention, isn't it? Your personal life demands attention. Your family life demands attention, isn't it? Before marriage, when you are in love, they call it a crush, isn't it? But after marriage, all that is left is Candy Crush. All the crushes are gone and all that you're left with is a Candy Crush. Just keep playing Candy Crush. And all the headaches coming from all the pressures. One lady went to a doctor and the doctor said, "How's your headache, madam?" She said, "He's out of town." Gosh, I must tell you, it demands a lot of attention. Your personal life, the first tire, do you have one? Do you have a personal life is my question. Do you have time for your health? Even in my hectic schedule, I have made 5 days of exercise here still. In all the lectures and all the talks and everywhere I go, because that's what's going to keep me going. I have to give time to myself because I don't get more than 3.5 to 4 hours of sleep. So if I don't look at my physical fitness, I'm gone. Ladies and gentlemen, do you give time for yourself? Do you have time for yourself, your personal time? Or is that wheel out of balance? Is it a flat tire? The third wheel, tire of the car of life is your professional life. Your personal life needs attention. Your family life needs attention. Your professional life needs attention. And the fourth is your social life. Your friends, people around you, your colleagues. Those relationships that matter a lot to you. Those people who would support you in time of need. Because to your spouses, to your family, you could speak a little. Sometimes certain things are not always confided with just blood relationships. You need that social side. People to whom you can speak. Open up your heart. How often do we just carry this baggage of stress and load, anxiety and worry in our heads? Lugging it all around as baggage. There's a social side to our life. Our friends, I've had those moments where I've snapped, even as a monk, because I'm a human being. Just because I put these robes of a monk doesn't mean I've become, a celestial angel. I'm still a human being. When one of those tires is out of order, if I haven't slept well, if my health is out of place, I'm going to snap out. You carry work pressures at home, you carry home pressures at work. Ladies and gentlemen, irritability is a symptom of an out of balance life. Stability in our responses is a symptom of a life in balance. We are irritable, we snap, we react at the drop of a hat for trivia just because we are out of balance. People who have a balanced life know how to handle pressure. People whose lives are not balanced sink under pressure and get so irritable at little things, they just kind of snap off.
I'm actually a camera shy person, believe it or not. When people shoot me and they just post some clips, that's fine with me. But talking to a camera, it's a machine. It's just some electronic machine. The camera doesn't laugh. The camera doesn't cry. The camera doesn't have any interpersonal reciprocations and dealings. And I must tell you, I felt very nervous. In fact, really fearful as well to speak into a camera. It was more fear of failure, I would say, because, when you speak into a camera and if it's relayed and it's put online, how do people see it? Otherwise, when I'm with people, people have seen me speak. And I decided, when the motive is to serve and contribute, we have to face our fears. We have to deal with our fears, face them, and rise above them. At some point of time, I had to decide to come and speak. So one day I decided, that's it. I have to come, speak in front of the camera. The first time I did it, believe me, we will post that video once. You must see me speaking there. Stiff, expressionless, motionless, stoic, nonchalant face, And I guess I'm kind of slowly getting better. Because in order to deal with these fears, you have to face them. You have to start somewhere. It's a beautiful slide. When followed in life, I guarantee you, life will be different. I guarantee you, if this is applied in life, we can have peaceful night's sleep. Here it is. Do you have a problem in life? No? Then why worry? Do you have a problem in life? Yes. Can you do something about it? Yes. Then why worry? Do you have a problem in life? Yes. Can you do something about it? No. Then why worry? Isn't it? Is it not? Why worry? In the journey of life as well, the takeoff, which is our birth, is completely beyond our control. We didn't choose our parents. We didn't choose which nation we were born in. We didn't choose which city we were born in. We didn't choose our socio-economic class we were born in. We didn't choose our looks. We didn't choose the religion we were born in. Our takeoff of the journey of life was completely beyond us. And the landing, death, even that will be completely beyond us. I've heard many times people telling me that they would just love to die by getting a massive heart attack and dropping dead, no trouble for them, no hospitalization, no tubes, no needles, no trouble caused to others. In one shot, go. Now, no matter how much we might wish that, it's just beyond us. How we go and how the landing happens is completely beyond us. And what about the turbulence, the disturbances, the problems during the journey of our life? Some of them are within our control, which we can solve. But many problems and issues and the turbulence caused is completely beyond our control because it's caused by situations which are beyond us. It's caused by people who are beyond us. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, in this journey of life, the takeoff, the landing, and the turbulence is not in our control. What is in our control, however, is the choices we can make. And therefore, spirituality is about learning how to make those right choices. When we learn to make those right choices, we learn to live a transformed, happy, fulfilled life despite all the turbulence and problems that are going on around us. It is said, when we are beautiful, it's God's gift to us. When we live our life beautiful, it is our gift to God. Therefore, being a male is a matter of birth. Being a man is a matter of age. Being a gentleman is a matter of choice. And as a corollary to that, being a female is a matter of birth. Being a woman is a matter of age. Being a gentlewoman is a matter of choice. Let us all take to spiritual wisdom, learn to make the right choices which are within our control as our gift to God, and thus live our lives as thorough and perfect, ladies and gentlemen.
I was telling the story the other day. This is my favorite story. I just keep sharing it all the time. This is what really happened. You can't believe this, but this happened. I came to London Heathrow once, and at London Heathrow, I came to the immigration officer, and this immigration officer, elderly man, he said, "So what are you here for?" I said, "To give talks." He said, "Then are you living at your Watford Centre?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "How long will you stay here for?" I said, "About 2 weeks." He said, "And can I ask you a personal question?" I said, "Please, sir." He said, "Are you married?" I said, "You are an Indian, aren't you?" "I'm a monk." He said, "No, I was just cross-checking, just in case." And then he said, "Can I ask you another one, please?" I said, "Yes." He said, "Are you not missing anything in life?" He thought he caught me at the wrong foot. "Are you not missing anything in life?" I said, "Of course I am." He said, "What?" I said, "Problems." You know what? He loved my answer. Believe me, hand on my heart, he stamped my passport, and as I'm walking out of the gate, he put his hand on my head, blessing me, said, "Son, remain like this. Son, remain like this. You will never have to go through any issues and your problems in life." God, you know what? I mean, it's nice to laugh at, but as I walked through the gate, I turned to him and told him, "Look, gentlemen, I must tell you something. Don't think that me as a monk is free from problems. Anyone who lives in this dog-eat, dog-live world, as they might say, or anyone who lives in this world full of rat race and pressures, whether it's you who are a student studying, or one of you corporates or business people who's working, or married man or lady who's kind of dealing with family life, or myself as a monk, we are all subject to our own pressures. We are all subject to our own stresses. We are all subject to our own individual worries and anxieties. Just the flavor is different." A lady asked me after the session, in the Q&A session, "Sir, you said that you were an electrical engineer. Why did you give up your career as an electrical engineer?" I said, "Madam, I didn't give up my career as an electrical engineer. I upgraded my career from being an electrical engineer to a lifestyle engineer." And I said to her, each of us, based on our particular faculties of knowledge, should be contributing to the world's solutions to problems. Engineering is all about offering solutions to problems. All engineers are offering solutions to problems. All bodies of knowledge offering solutions to problems. And I thought mine is one, offering solutions to problems related to lifestyle. Problems happen, challenges happen, struggles happen, issues happen, misunderstandings happen, health crises happen, financial crunches happen, markets go down and that happens. All of that happens. Happiness doesn't happen. You have to make it happen, because right things don't happen. You have to make the right things. Fitness is the right thing, doesn't happen. You have to make fitness happen. And if you want to lose any weight, losing weight doesn't happen. You have to make it happen. Not reacting when you're angry, shutting that bloody mouth up doesn't happen. You have to make it happen. Only wrong things happen automatically. Right things, you have to make them happen. They don't happen like that. I'll tell you what, we all react in our own ways to lose it. Not reacting and shutting this up doesn't happen. You have to make it happen. saying a sorry when somebody hurts you, or forgiving somebody when somebody hurts you, doesn't happen. You have to make it happen.
Like sometimes you find child prodigies. You know, they're like masters in singing or dancing or writing or whatever they do. Like if you see 2-year-old kids, when their hands go on a piano, spellbound. Now, don't tell me that he could learn that and master it at that age. Don't tell me. A 2-year-old can't master the alphabet. Don't tell me that he mastered it by learning it. In fact, nobody taught it to him. He got it. He got it. Now, when you say he got it, don't call it genetic. How do genes give you a music skill? You know? How? So I know kids, young little kids who are like prodigies in what they do. At 1.5, at 2. It's absolutely phenomenal. And then, now where is faith and belief here? It's rational logic that this guy has it. It's not come from learning. It's not come from reading. Nobody imparted to him. It must come from somewhere. How can there be an effect without a cause?
Absolutely.
And I can't see an immediate cause right now. So there has to be a remote cause before this.
Right.
You know what I mean? Whether I call it karma, whether I call it whatever, but I can't accept an effect without a cause. It's against my rational thinking, you know? So now, if this gentleman, this little boy or little girl, he or she, has this incredible talent, we call it, the common parlance is he or she is God-gifted.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
God-gifted, man. Look at this guy.
Yeah.
Not learned, look at how they're doing it. So that to me is, call it luck, call it destiny, call it karma, call it whatever. I didn't grab it. I got it. Matthew McConaughey, when he got the Oscar, he said something phenomenal. I loved it. In fact, it's written in the book as well. He first, of course, thanked God, thanked his wife, thanked his father, thanked his mom. And he said, I want to thank God. I want to thank God because opportunities are not given by the human hand. I didn't seek a lot and it came to me. How do I explain it? There's a million other people who are seeking, they don't get it.
That's right.
And I don't seek and I get it. What am I going to explain it by? You know?
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Now, what that little one does with that talent, or what this gentleman does or this lady does with the opportunity that has come, is my free will.
Correct.
Or my choice. Whether to drive right or to drive left or to not drive.
Right.
Correct? But the car, for a lot of people, was given. Correct?
Yes.
Now, that free will part is where I often like to quote. I say, I don't know who said it, but it's a beautiful quote. It says, when hard work beats talent, when talent doesn't work hard.
Absolutely.
You know?
Yeah.
So now the talent came to you when you were 2. But if you don't do nothing with it,
It has no meaning.
it has no meaning. So you didn't drive the car.
Yeah.
You grossly abused the fantastic gift, the car that you were given.
Absolutely.
Correct? And then the others may not get a car like that, but they have their own car,
Yes.
which they now need to identify. That's called self-discovery.
Yes.
To be able to identify what's the car you've been given. What's it that you've been gifted with? And everybody has been gifted with something. There are 5 levels of people. On level 1, the lowest level, is a person who only sees bad in others. For heaven's sake, that guy just cannot see any good. Anyone here like that? I don't think so. We're not so bad that we just can't see any good. Some people just can't see any. You know, it's like when you like someone, even if the guy does the biggest crime, you say, no, maro dikro che, aja. You like him. But when you don't like someone, even if he does the best thing, you don't like him. And if you have that experience, if you just don't like someone, even if he has all the good qualities, you just can't like him. There are some people on that lowest level. They only focus on the bad. They can't see the good. A level higher,
are those who see the good and the bad, but conveniently ignore the good and focus on the bad. How often it happens when we live with people, there's so many good things in them, but conveniently we neglect the good things and only focus on the bad. My husband digs the nose. Okay. He digs his nose, but he also does many other good things. How come you forgot all of those and only digging? How come you only saw that? How come you only saw that? You know? We conveniently neglect the good and focus on the bad. The third category of people are those who see good and bad equally and they're neutral. They're not concerned. Good, bad, they're in their own world. The fourth category are those who see the good and bad. They choose to ignore the bad or deal with the bad and focus on the good. If you want to like a person, you have to be on level 4. If you want to like a person, if you're on level 2, where you're ignoring the good and focusing on the bad, how will you like that person? And how will that relationship be deep? When you're on level 4, where you choose to ignore the bad, or if the need be, deal with the bad and focus on the good. And the fifth level is those who only see good. That's God and spiritually enlightened individuals who will only see good in others. Anybody here who's on level 1 only seeing bad? Can raise your hand? Nobody? Okay, thank you. Anybody is here on level 5 only seeing good? If you raise your hand, I don't believe you. Oh, sorry, madam, I do believe you. I'm so I didn't see you raise your hand. I was just joking. Sorry, I truly believe you, madam. I didn't see you raise your hand, please. I just happened to say by thinking nobody is. Thank you, madam. We really appreciate. Can we give a loud round of applause for her? My God, amazing. Okay, now in your close relationships, how many of you find yourself many times stuck at level 2? Level 2, where you kind of look at the bad and forget the good that they have. Thank you. In our relationships, we need to come to level 4.
I'll tell you what, the nature of problems is that it consumes our mind. Imagine a tooth which is hurting. I don't know if somebody's had their finger stuck in the edge of the door and the door is slammed. Good heavens, it hurts like hell. And then the pain is just so all-consuming. The mind just focuses so much on the pain, right? I think it's just the nature of problems that it draws our mind towards them. Like the tongue going towards the cumin seed in my tooth when it was stuck. It's like gravity, the law of gravity. If we put this bottle up and put it up here and drop it, it's going to just be pulled down. Dragged down by the power of gravity. I think there's a power of gravity existing within us as well. They're just natural for us to be dragged down to our issues, our problems, right? To everything that's negative. I think being pulled into negativity is so normal. It's like gravity. Put this bottle down, it falls down. You don't have to do anything. But if I were to pull water up from the ground floor to the 8th floor, I need a motor to work against gravity, and I need conscious hard work to bring it there. So it's so natural for the mind to feel negative and go towards the problem. But if I have to look at 31 other teeth, I have to make a conscious choice to take my tongue away.
Right.
If I have to pull the water down from the ground floor to the 8th floor, I have to put a pump to pull it up. It's not easy work. It's hard work, right? But hard work pays off. That's when you look at really saying, okay, this is fulfilling me now. And I definitely don't want to impose this principle of gratitude in a unrealistic way on people, because sometimes misery is so intense.
Absolutely.
You know, when troubles are smaller, you can still consciously look at the brighter side of life. You know, but sometimes troubles are just so intense and massive, and they seem to be like mountains, unmoving, unshakable. mountains. They just stand there for ages and decades. How in such a situation, wouldn't it be so violent to forcefully impose the principle of gratitude on a person whose life is so acutely absorbed in intense misery? Right? You know, I call that toxic positivity. It's toxic. It's not natural.
So what does one do really?
In such a situation when it's just so overwhelmingly painful, you know, my take on it is it's hard to look at the brighter side when this intense pain there. But at the same time, I also feel if we are consumed by negativity with that pain and that problem and it's occupying our mind, we lose the ability to deal with it the way we are meant to. Correct? So if we could seek help, if I'm not able to see it, we could seek help of somebody. It could be professional help or personal help, friends, whoever it could be. We could seek help to be able to shift our attention to even the tiniest things so that that little positivity becomes the anchor to deal with.
I want to just offer to you 3 essential principles of gratitude. Being mindful and grateful. The first one being recognizing all the wonderful things that have been done to us. Believe me, we are in such a rush most of the time. We're not even thoughtful and mindful to recognize the incredible gifts that have been showered upon us. How many of you had loving parents? Most all of us. How many of us feel that we've been receiving so much affection from our parents? Yes. How many of you have loving spouses? You might want to or may not want to raise your hands. That is completely up to you. It's your choice, ladies and gentlemen, whether you want to raise your hands for this. How many of you had wonderful teachers? Good. How many of you had some amazing friends? Great. How many of you have come in contact with some wonderful spiritual personalities? Great. And how many of us feel that our life is a collective sum total of the so many wonderful things that have been done to us by so many in our lives? Show of hands, please. All of us, isn't it? So many of us have been recipients and received so much from our families, from our friends, from our teachers, from saints. I'll tell you something, to be very honest, what the world needs today is transformed individuals. We have a lot of affluence, we have a lot of influence, we have a lot of information. We are in an age which is laden with information. You know, what we truly need is transformed individuals who can utilize what we have for constructive causes in the world, who can truly bring light to the world, who can truly bring hope to the world. There's enough information. What we would need is transformation. And what better a way but to have a spiritual culture to bring that transformation in individuals. And in fact, I don't want to say it, but I must, that spirituality happens to be one of those major ways to bring transformation in individual people. I see so many people following different parts of spirituality and change and transform to not just be a part of competition, but be a part of contribution. Along with competition, they're also looking at contribution. Youth is the hope for the world. Youngsters, young men and ladies are the ones who can change the shape of planet Earth, who can change the way the world functions, bringing in incredible hope and light to the world.
You know, when we're talking about science and spirituality, I feel that I never felt there is a divide or a difference.
Right.
I feel the purpose is one.
Right.
When we look at both having the same purpose, which is to unveil the truth.
Correct.
Science is trying to unveil the truth.
Right.
And spirituality is wanting to unveil the truth.
Correct.
So how are we different in our purpose, correct? The methodologies may be different. Like in science, I may use equipment, I may use instruments, I may use telescopes, I may use
Measurement.
measurements, I may use so many different things
That's right.
to be able to figure out what that truth is. Correct? And I will.
Yes.
I will. Phenomenally will. Correct? So from science and from all what I see, I have facts. Not complete facts yet. Which is why it's always evolving. We call it a relative science. It's not an absolute science.
Absolutely.
Mendeleev's periodic table. Right?
Yes.
The values were changing, right? We found out the truth later. We assigned a certain value. We said, sorry, sir, this is not what it is. This is the actual value. So it's changing. So could I say that this is it? May not be. If I get an instrument which is better than what I have today, I'll probably explore another layer of that same facet, right? Now, that's where I get the facts. Great, I need those facts. When we talk about spirituality, it is giving the purpose of those facts. So we should be working in tandem. Spirituality and science were meant to work in tandem. One looking at unveiling the truth by giving us factual data, and one saying, giving the philosophical side, saying, what is the purpose of this data?
Correct.
What is the purpose of this existence? And both are two important dimensions to the same truth.
Absolutely.
So I feel
That's an artificial divide.
it's an artificial divide, and it's rigidity on both parts, both sides, that we can't come together to sit and say, hey, look, I'll give you an example. Should a doctor repair a car? That's not a skill set.
Yeah.
Should a car mechanic try and do an open heart surgery? No. So this is my area of expertise, let me do that much and not delve into something further. Let somebody else with this other area of expertise come together, and let's pool it all together to unveil the truth together, adding our own dimension to it. The one thing that I've learned over the years is that we are all so different. Our lives are so different. Our situations are so different. Our backgrounds are so different. Our upbringing is so different. The journey of our life up until now for each one of us is so different compared to somebody else. And therefore, it's so important that we don't judge our own life or the lives of others by comparing them with someone else's life. Here's an example. If Mr. A can sprint a distance of 10 kilometers in 1 hour, whereas Mr. B covers the same distance in 1.5 hours, which one of the two would you call faster and healthier? The answer obviously would be Mr. A. Now what if I tell you that Mr. A had a prepared track to run on, while Mr. B did it by walking on a sandy path? I think our answer will now change, and we probably think that Mr. B is fitter. And let's say we come to know that actually Mr. A is 75 years old while B is only 20. Here we go. Our answer changes again, and we now think that the 75-year-old Mr. A is healthier. Guess what? Mr. A weighs 60 kg, whereas Mr. B 125 kg, which makes it really hard for him to run. Who do you think did well? Oh my goodness. Now we correct ourselves again as we favor Mr. B. The more we get to know about the strengths and limitations of Mr. A and B respectively, our opinions and judgments about who is better keep changing. And isn't life like that as well, guys? We form opinions about others so quickly, so hastily, so impulsively, so superficially, without knowing much about them or their situations. We end up judging people, labeling people, and miss out on connecting to and encouraging the immense potential that they may have. Life is not the same for all. Some may not be as talented as others, but may get better opportunities and thus scale up very fast. Whereas others, despite being super talented, keep struggling just to make the ends meet. कहते हैं ना कि किस्मत महलों में राज करती है और कई बार हुनर सड़कों पर तमाशा करते रहता है. Some may have more resources, whereas others can't find any source to fall back on. Each one has different problems, and so no one solution can work for all. Just like one size of clothing doesn't fit all. So do not judge others' journey without knowing more. Do not judge your own life by looking at someone else's or comparing your situation with someone else's. You are you and they are they. Your life is your life and theirs is theirs. Do take inspiration from their journey in a way that you can enrich yours. And always remember, life is the most difficult exam. Many people fail because they try to copy others, not realizing that everyone has a different question paper.
I've done 3 talks in 3 cities in India. Late morning, like about 9ish, I've spoken in Bangalore in India. After that was over, come to the airport, go to Chennai for another one, finish that and come back to Mumbai and straight from the airport go to another. I've done 3 talks in 3 cities in a day. What do you, if I snap well? You're technically right, I did. But you're practically wrong, ladies and gentlemen. I don't snap like that. You can interact with me all the time. I don't snap like that. But I'm a human body and a human machine. In your relationships, ladies and gentlemen, I make a humble appeal to all of you and beg of you, life is short. It's very short. Don't mess up with people, the closest people to you. Give time to them and understand them. They may be they may have said something here and there, and you may be technically right. Okay, look at the hidden mango. Yes, your husband or your wife may not love you, and that's technically right. But there may be a hidden mango why. Find that out before you brand them. Your son or daughter may not listen to you, and you may be completely technically right that they don't obey you. But find out the hidden mango. Why are they doing what they are doing? They are doing that is clear. Everybody knows it. It doesn't need 2 pence worth of common sense. Is it a rocket science to understand that? Is it a rocket science to understand he's not behaving right? Any damned fool can understand it. It needs intelligence and maturity to go behind the technical rightness and look for the practical rightness. It needs maturity and wisdom to start seeing behind the scene. To say, why is this person not loving me? Why is this person behaving like that? Why is this person not treating me right? And if you do that, believe me, hand on my heart, your love for whoever you love will go so deep, and your relationship with whoever you relate to will be so profound, because it's based on maturity, not judgmentalism. How can every morning be the same? How can every afternoon be the same? How can every evening be the same? How can every day be the same? हर दिन अलग होता है, हर घंटा अलग होता है, हर पल अलग होता है. Every day is a different day. And therefore they changed the greeting now. Greeting बदल दिया. अभी good morning नहीं बोलता है कोई. Happy morning. Happy morning, sir. Happy morning. How are you doing this morning? Happy morning. Good morning नहीं बोलते आजकल. क्योंकि गुड है कि नहीं मालूम नहीं है. क्यों बोलने का गुड मॉर्निंग? किसी का झगड़ा हो गया पत्नी के साथ सवेरे सवेरे, उसको जाके बुढ़ो चिल्लाएगा, क्या है रे गुड मॉर्निंग में? You can't say good morning because sometimes there may be nothing good in that morning, nothing good in that day. So now the term is happy morning. Happy morning. Because whether the morning is good or not, you can still choose to be happy, right? Whether it's good or not cannot be a choice. Whether the morning is good or not for you cannot be a choice. It's not a choice for you. When you wake up, some virus may enter into your head and you get up with a high fever. It's not a choice you have. Whether the morning is good or not is not in your control. Whether the afternoon is good or not is not in your control. Whether the evening is good or not is not in your control. Whether the day is good or not is not in your control. But whether you can be happy in that moment, well, you can choose to be. When people smile, it doesn't mean things are going good. It just means that they've chosen to smile. How many of you breathe? I am sorry for asking that question. How many of you have been breathing for the last couple of minutes as I started this talk? I'm sure all of you have. How many of you are conscious of your breathing? Mindful of your breathing? I don't think so, any of us. How many of you use an Apple Watch? Any of you here?
And do you know that on an Apple Watch there's a facility which giving you reminders after every 1 hour? Time to breathe. Yeah, if you use an Apple Watch, you know that it gives you a reminder after every 1 hour, time to breathe and focus and being mindful of your breathing. Ladies and gentlemen, none of us in the last 1 odd hour of, shall I say, through the day, have been conscious of our breathing. Now imagine when you start breathing and you just keep breathing in and in and in and in and in. Can you live? No. And imagine if you start breathing out and you breathe 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 out. Can you live? No. Can you imagine how life is fashioned in such an incredible, sophisticated, refined rhythm? The rhythm of breathing. When we talk about life, we talk about the rhythm of breathing. Where so unconsciously there's taking in and there's giving out. There's taking in and there's giving out. If we just keep taking in, we choke up. And if we just keep giving out, we choke up. What an incredible balance life has to teach us. What an incredible rhythm simply our breathing has to teach us. That life can't just be a life of takers where we just keep taking, just taking, or taking. Nor can life be just giving, 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 giving. The rhythm of breathing gives us an incredible message. Take in, to give out. Have, to share. Grab, to care.